Hi, I'm Jojo, one of the naturalists at Napa Open Space District, and I'm out here at Moore Creek doing the oak hike for the third Saturday hike for this month in December. I'm underneath this beautiful blue oak, and we'll be seeing a lot more different types of oaks along on this trail. So come along and enjoy with me and Jay as we go through the park. Hi, again, this is another section at Moore Creek, and this is a beautiful tree that I have stumbled upon. This is called ghost pine or gray pine or foothill pine. There's many common names. The botanical name is Pinus strubiniana. It's a very, very interesting tree. Kind of reminds me of Dr. Seuss. The trees are really whimsical. It doesn't provide a lot of shade, however, it does add a lot of value when it comes to wildlife. The seeds are pretty nutritious, and their cones, and we'll probably find a cone later on, are pretty big. They get maybe about 70 feet to 100 feet tall in some locations. They can only live about 70 to 80 years, so not that old. A cool thing also about the seeds that comes out of the cones is that were used for many different types of things, for jewelry, also for the edible parts of it as well. They roast the seeds, and it was a very, very nutritious diet for a lot of the Wapos that lived here, and the Pomos also that were in this area in Sonoma as well, Sonoma and Napa. Another cool thing about being out here in the oak woodlands is that you'll see a lot of lichen, really cool, diverse species. This one right here is called a Beardsman's lichen. So lichens are an integral part of the oak woodland setting in the ecosystem here. Lichens are a combination of fungus and algae. Usually the fungus is the body part, and inside would be the algae. Further in science, we've been discovering there's actually more character roles that are in lichen, but I won't get into that later on. But for right now, this beautiful lichen is called Old Beardman's lichen, or fish net lichen. It's actually the California state lichen. The cool thing that I really cherish about them is the aesthetic appeal. However, they have a really cool purpose of being here in the park. When there's a lot of wind, a lot of the dust gets trapped in between these nettings, and when it rains, all of that good nutrition, the soil, dust goes right back down into the ground, and it benefits the oaks here. A lot of people think that lichen actually kills the oaks, especially these ones, but that's far from the truth. It actually loves sun, so if the oak is dying, there'll be more lichen. So my favorite oak, well, I'm going to say favorite oak a lot because I truly do love oaks. This one right here is the blue oak, Quercus douglasii. Quercus is a Celtic name for fine tree. It's a very beautiful tree right here. They are usually found in the foothills, in the mountains, and sometimes going down into the valleys. They really do appreciate full sun, really arid conditions, and harsh rock content, really rocky soils. One thing I also really love about them is that they get the name blue because their leaves, well, I can't really show it to you right now, but further up, their leaves have a bluish, greenish waxing over their leaves. And that right there is a sunscreen because they're usually found in areas where summers can be over 100 degrees for almost a month or a couple of months. Another cool thing about the blue oaks is that usually they're on the hillsides Also, that means that the root systems go all the way down, maybe 100 to 120 feet underneath to hold in the soil. I just love blue oaks. They're really cool. If you see one, give them a high five. Right here is a beautiful valley oak showing its beautiful fall display. Valley oaks are the largest oaks in North America, and usually where you would find them is in the valley. The reason why is because they're usually found in deeper soils where the valley is. And a cool thing about the tree is its leaves. So let me come a bit closer so you can see it, and this is how you can ID it. Now, right here is the lobe, and at the bottom is the sinus, or I usually call that the valley. The sinuses can be really big in the valley oaks. Cool thing that I also do love about them is that they can be 100 feet tall and 100 feet wide. It can live up to 200 to 500 years old. Pretty amazing. Quercus agrifolia, or the coast live oak, is a common native tree that you would find in the park. Its native range is from Mendocino County all the way down to Baja, Mexico. The structure of this tree is very interesting. It could be really widespread, and it can have these really crooked branches that form a really picturesque silhouette of an oak. It can live up to 200 to 300 years, and some I've even found records of to 500 years old. Sadly, for the last a decade and a half, this tree has become a victim of SOD, which that means sudden oak death, which was found in 1995 in Marin County. Um, right now, over in Napa County, we do have records that this disease is present, but further inland in the county, as it gets more warmer, it does not really affect it as much.
So we had promoted this particular third Saturday hike as an ohm hike, standing for oaks, moss, and mistletoe, and we somehow replaced the moss with lichen, which is totally fine. And then we were so enthused with the oaks that we ended up spending most of our time covering those. But we did still want to cover 1M, and that is mistletoe. And this is Jay here, and we just thought talking about mistletoe seemed appropriate ahead of the holiday season here, and also an important plant to talk about because in the past it's been misunderstood or even a bit maligned. And then finally, it gives us an opportunity to introduce to you Secrets of the Oak Woodlands, which is a book written by Kate Marion Child. It's a book that both Jojo and I really have liked and used in our naturalist work. So I'm just going to read a brief passage from it about oak mistletoe. Formerly maligned and attacked as a parasitic killer of trees, it is now recognized as an ecologically important native plant that has been around for thousands or millions of years. It is in fact a keystone player in the oak woodlands, a species that is disproportionately important to other species relative to its abundance. When mistletoe is removed from ecosystems, 1/3 of the animals, including birds, mammals, and insects, disappear. So again, that's just a short reference there. Encourage you to check out that book, and glad you joined us to learn a little bit more about oaks and a little bit more about Moore Creek, and we hope to see you next time. Thanks.